So we're going to start with the paid sick leave. So basically, there's two separate provisions that grant sick leave currently to employees, and employers need to honor that. So basically, there are tax credits also that allow you to be, the tax credits actually can help the employers get money back for their wages for health plan expenses. So if you have a employer's health plan, you can actually add that amount to the tax credit. And then actually the Medicare tax as well is included in that amount. So there's qualifications for the paid sick leave. There's 3 different qualifications that will allow the employees to obtain up to 80 hours of sick leave. And there's the first 3 qualifications are the employee is under a federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation. The second one is that they've been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine. The third is that they're experiencing symptoms of COVID. So in that case, they'd be entitled to up to 80 hours or up to 2 weeks or 80 hours of paid sick leave, and the employer must grant that to them. Okay. Now there's relief in having the credits. That's kind of the employer's way to get compensated for this. And there's 3 different ways, 3 different levels that the employer can qualify this. So that it's either at the employee's rate of pay, the higher, or the federal minimum wage, or here in the state of California, the minimum wage is different. You also have to look at your localities, because in each city or district, you can have different minimum wages as well. So some cities in California can go up to like $15 an hour for minimum wage. So these are the things you have to look at for a max of up to $511 or $5,110 in the aggregate. There's a second level, which is that the employee is caring for an individual who is subject to the quarantine, or the employee is caring for the child of such employee. The third in this section is that the employee is experiencing any other substantially similar condition. So this is kind of vague here. I think it's a little open to interpretation. I guess we'll see how that turns out. In this case, the employee is paid up to 2/3 of their regular rate of pay. Okay, so this is a little bit different. Whereas the previous one, they were actually allowed up to their whole amount of pay. This one is up to 2/3 the amount of their pay. The max is up to $200 per day and $2,000 in the aggregate. Okay, so again, this is a refundable credit. You can file that same form that we discussed before. I think you can go to your payroll company, but additionally, you don't have to wait for them. You can actually get the advance on the credit by filing this form on your own as well. Okay. So now we'll go to the paid family leave refundable credit. So this is if an employee needs to leave to care for the child of an employee. Basically, if the employee's children's school shut down, the daycare is shut down because of COVID, which, whose kids are going to school right now? I know my kids are home. So I should qualify for this, I know, to take care of my kids. So the thing with the paid family leave is that first, if an employee goes on paid family leave, they need to take their 10 days of sick leave. And that is either the qualified sick leave that I just spoke about earlier, or the employer's qualified sick leave plan. And then they can begin taking the qualified family leave. Okay, so the first 10 days, you got to look at the first 10 days are sick time. And then this paid family leave is actually eligible up to 10 weeks or 400 hours. This, the credit is also based on the wages, the health plan expenses, and the Medicare tax. Additionally, these wages are exempt. The employer's portion of this is exempt from the 6.2% Social Security tax. So if you look at that, you know, you have the Social Security and Medicare 7.65% combined. So this is pretty good. Again, this is one that you would use the Form 7200 and file along with your 941. So this just discusses kind of how you can do that. You can actually do this on your own. You don't necessarily have to wait for your payroll company. Here's what the form looks like. It's pretty easy to fill out. You basically have to add up the wages right here that qualify for the employee retention credit, as Andrew spoke about earlier. Here's the box for the qualified sick leave wages, and here's the box for the family leave wages. And you can add those up. There's actually a spreadsheet that we have that you can use to figure out what this credit is. And then at the end of every quarter, you know, you can do it from March 13th through March 31st as well. That is a qualifying period that you can obtain that credit immediately.